And in America, you kind of see this shift back and forth between the far right and the far left. I don't know if I want to say far right or far left, because I don't like those terms. Usually far right and far left are usually reserved for people that are so far on either side that they resort to violence, and so I don't know if I want to use the term far right or far left, but you see America shifting back and forth between people who are very far to the left and people who are very far to the right. And each time you have a swing, it seems to get more and more. So for example, Bill Clinton was on the left, but then George W. Bush came into power and was more to the right than Clinton was to the left. And then after George Bush, because you had all that Iraq War stuff and so forth. Then after George Bush, you had Obama, who was more to the left than Clinton was, but he was more to the left than George W. Bush was to the right. Then Trump came in, who was more to the right, and then Biden came in, who was more to the left, and Trump's second term is even more to the right. So what you're seeing is the swing back and forth. It seems to be like very reactionary back and forth, but each time it swings, it gets more in the direction that it swings. If it goes right, it gets more to the right than it was before. If it goes to the left, it gets more to the left than it was before. And I don't know how far you can go to either the right or the left before you fall off the edge.
I know. Can anybody tell me what's going on? Tell me what's going on. If you open your eyes, you'll see that something is wrong. If you have a leftist government, then if the foreign policy favors the people who are on the left, and if you have a more right government, then you have a better relationship, let's say with Russia and people like that. So if every 4 years you keep switching, then that unpredictability of the government of America, or America's point stand, and the fact that America is not one direction all the time, maybe it plays, it plays out well for the US eventually, because you don't necessarily have permanent, enemies.
Well, 4 years from now, what happens if the Democrats come into power again, and then they swing things even more to the left than Joe Biden was? At what point do we stop and say, hey, maybe we shouldn't keep reacting? I don't know. Maybe that's not really. Maybe I'm focused on something that's really not the issue, because I think there were legitimate reasons to be opposed to what the left was doing when they've been in power over the last 4 years. Like the woke thing just got completely over the top. Some of the things that they were doing, with allowing biological males to compete in sports, with having pornographic, sexually charged children's books in school libraries. These aren't things that the right did. These are things that the left did. And I think there's legitimate backlash to that. But I think the thing is, there are things that Trump is doing. Like Biden let 10 million people, I think it was 10 million, I don't know the exact number. He let millions and millions of people come across the border into the US. Now you have this backlash taking place where not only is Trump going after criminals, like the ones that commit serious crimes, and deporting them, but if they also happen to find somebody, and though they're not actively targeting those people, but it's not off the table for them. They say that if you're here in this country illegally, don't think that you're safe. And what I don't like is, even though I think Biden should not have let that many people in, but they came in here under his watch, so they're here. So I don't believe in sending them back, or in splitting people up from whatever life they're building here and deporting them. I don't support that sort of thing, but what you need to do is, if you want to stabilize things, do what you can to stabilize the border now, prevent more people from coming across, deport the people who are committing serious crimes. And Biden wouldn't go after the illegal immigrants, the illegal aliens in the U.S. who were committing serious crimes. He wouldn't go after them. He wouldn't let ICE do their job. Trump is letting them do their job. And now what you're finding is that fewer people are coming across the border now, because they realize now it's probably not going to be this safe place for them to do that anymore, which is fine because I think you can't allow millions and millions and millions of people to come across the border like that. You've got to have some sort of control. It's not that I don't want people coming into the U.S., but you've got to have some sort of control about how many people are coming in. And you've got to have some way of managing that. And just having an open border and just letting them flow in is not a good approach. I think what's happening is people in the U.S. are reacting to that extreme, but they're reacting to that extreme by going to the other extreme. So now they don't have sympathy for people who are building a life here, but maybe they were here illegally, and they're trying to make a life here, and they're trying to become a citizen, but we're just going to send them back. And I know the reaction to that is that for the most part, ICE is targeting people that have committed really serious crimes. But the fact that it's not off the table, what happens if they get all the serious crimes? Then are they going to go after the average person who hasn't done anything wrong besides just being here illegally, which is what I don't want to happen.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic because I have a couple of relatives in the US. I don't know. I think most of them are there legally, really. But people come to the US for the American dream. They come to get something to bring back home. But I was watching a video by the Kenyan president.
Yep, I saw that video. I think I know what you're going to talk about. Maybe it's a different one.
No, I think it's the same. It's the same. So for me, as a Ugandan, I wish the borders were open. I wish I could come over and have a good time and get the money because there's more money in America and I bring it back home. On a selfish note, as a Ugandan, I think it would be good for America's borders to be open for all of us. Because I would come in and get my money and bring it back here and have a good time. But I also believe in the America First agenda of philosophy, in the sense that I'm a Ugandan. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't pay tax to America.
You don't pay taxes to America. Yeah, the Kenyan president, I saw that video. Why are you worried that America is taking away funding? Do you pay taxes in America? You're not American, whatever. Yeah.
But it's very right. It's very right because I don't contribute directly anything to America per se. I don't pay taxes. I don't vote. I don't choose who the president will be in America. I shouldn't be as entitled to America's space. If someone doesn't invite you to their home, you don't have to go to their home. Even if you're hungry and they're very rich, you don't just walk into someone's home because they are rich. They have to invite you. They have to at least admit you to come in. So I feel like America has a right to regulate who gets into the country and who doesn't get into the country. And that challenges us, the Africans, or the Mexicans, all those other countries that have these immigrants who have gone to America. What is wrong with our other countries, So maybe it's time for us to actually do something about our lives. Do something with our lives. There's been a brain drain in Africa to the Western world, where they come, they get to the top schools, they get the bright students, they give them scholarships to go to America, to go to the UK. After they give them jobs in the UK, they become rich in the UK, they develop the UK, they develop America. And the best they can do is spend some money back home to build a mansion, which they will never sleep in. They're not developing our country. So in other words, to me, immigration, in a sense, helps America more than it helps our country, like Uganda. There are very many competent Ugandans who have got, big scholarships, big master's degree, big PhDs in America, and they're making big progress and helping America, put in a better place. If those people would come back after that education, maybe they would help our economy grow. Maybe they would be the innovators in our country, but they are not innovating anything for us.
Right.
They are helping America. So for me, I would rather, give people scholarships out of the benevolent heart and etc., but send them back after they study.
Right.
Send them back to Uganda. Let them go back to their countries and come and develop their countries. Because otherwise, we shall always be running to America for help. Mm-hmm. Yes, the people that have studied at Harvard, people have studied at Yale, they want to stay there, and we don't benefit as Africa from these scholarships. They benefit the Western world. So for me,
so I wanted to. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I went and I dug, see if I could find that video of the Kenyan president, and I'm wondering if maybe we haven't tried to do this yet, but I wonder if we could try. I can share the video. We can watch the video and then comment about it, and maybe build off of the video.
Have you got it?
The video of the Kenyan president making a statement of like, do you pay taxes to America? And see what he says.
The audio is not playing.
The audio's not playing?
Mm.
Can you read?
Yeah.
It's running the text below, but yeah, I have some work to do on how to figure this out, but you don't pay taxes in America. You got it, yeah. Yeah, this is a wake-up call for you to say, what are we going to do for ourselves?
It's very accurate.
Yeah, I'll have to work on figuring out how to get the sound, but you can still read the words, I think, below. So
there was another girl who she was host. I think she was she got aired on, was it Fox News or CNN? A Ugandan girl. She also responded, and she was almost airing the same sentiments. For what she was talking about USAID, and she's like, okay, these guys have taken their money. It's okay, it's their money. It's their money. And after all, we've been complaining about having donors who come with strings attached in a sort of like neo-colonialism. Now it's the time for us to shine. Let's bask in the moment. Let's be able to be regulated. Let's be independent. Of course there will be a struggle, but eventually I think we're not going to die because USAID is not here. We shall survive. We shall survive.
Yeah.
And so for me, and this USAID funding, it affects me directly because where I'm working, we have it's a non-profit, and we get funding. One of which is the USAID. So I'm not saying this without empathy, but it also affects me. But it's what it is. I shouldn't be thinking about myself. The reality is USAID might have other strings attached. It may not really be helping us directly.
Because they might have, because of the fact that it comes with, what has been, typically what America has done in recent years is promoted values that oftentimes contradict what African values are and what Ugandan values are. Exactly. So if you want this money, you're going to have to go against the values of your society, your culture, maybe even of you personally, if you want to continue to receive money from them. And that's one of the reasons why it's not necessarily a good thing always to get. I mean, it is good to get money. That does help in many ways. I'm not saying that the money is necessarily a bad thing. It's necessarily a bad thing, but it isn't always a good thing because it oftentimes, as you said, comes with strings attached and expectations.
Yeah, it's like someone comes to your house and they're like, okay, I'm going to pay your rent. I'm going to help you buy your land and get your title. I'm going to, be giving you some amount of money, but I'll be sleeping with your wife.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, it's awkward, it puts you in an awkward place, but some people would budge, like, okay, this guy is a billionaire, he's giving me money, it's okay, I'll get another woman. But those strings attached are too hard, and actually that is even easier than what some of these strings attached are, because if Africans, the homosexuality has always been there in the world. It's not a new phenomenon. It has been there all the time. Even according to the Bible, it was there, all over 6,000 years ago. So you're not going to fight homosexuality and stop it. It has always been there. So it's not like Africans have always killed homosexuals. They have been here without the US's help or whatever's help. They have been here and they've been surviving here, and we have had our ways of dealing with it, so that it doesn't spread as much as they are spreading it. We do not condone it, but then no one has been killed because they are gay in Africa. It has happened.
Well, that's not the narrative in the U.S. The narrative in the U.S. is that I don't know if I want to say that you're hunting down homosexuals, but I've kind of heard this stereotype.
But you've been here.
I've been here, yeah, and yeah, I know that it's not true, but I actually have a friend who has told me about, well, I don't like what they're doing in Uganda to homosexuals. I mean, they're killing homosexuals. And I think it's because you have a law that says that homosexuality has the death penalty.
Yeah, but the law, I think, I don't know much about the law, but all I know that they said, if someone is promoting homosexuality to young people, they find you in a school, you're recruiting children into these practices, and maybe someone is sodomizing young children, that's the death sentence. They'll be in prison for the rest of their life. Yes, that is real. But even that, we've not had cases in court because of the foreign influence. Even those have not been acted on because people are scared for their lives. They would ban that particular judge from moving out of the country, etc. So, literally, no one has been charged.
Right, and the government is not going to people's homes and looking for homosexuals and dragging them out of their homes and killing them.
No. And what has always happened now? Where the problem comes in with this activism for LGBTQ is that we growing up, we had children who are naturally having like gender dysphoria. You find a boy and he acts like a girl. He likes to play with dolls. He just prefers being a girl. He has girl-like behavior, and there would be bullying in schools. We used to call them sissies, and they would bully them and etc. But then there was the way they would be still cultured, and eventually these people would become normal men. I've studied with some of them. They're even married. They have children, and they're okay. Life has moved on. And the same for girls. There are girls who are like, we call them tomboys. Yeah. There are girls who are like tomboys, and people would not per se fight them or persecute them directly, but their families or the circles around them would still try to remind them that they are girls. They would encourage them to dress like women. They would encourage them. And some of them are now happy wives. They're married. Their life has moved on, and they even don't know what they were thinking. Yeah. Now, what the liberal mind says is that don't do conversion therapy. Don't talk about it when someone feels like it's okay for them to feel that way. And now that's something that Africa is not accepting. We're not agreeing to that.
Yeah.
Like, if someone is acting in a way that does not necessarily correspond to their, I don't even want to say it, but their assigned gender at birth, because I feel it should be the same all the way. They get helped. They get help to realize who they are. If you're a father and then you wake up one morning and you're like, I don't feel like a father, now I'm a mother. Let's you will never become a mother. You will always be a father. So we don't affirm things that defeat logical sense. So that's where we rejected such notions or whatever. And that's why we celebrate Trump's coming. Not necessarily because he's the best person that America needs, but at least for those particular aspects of influence, we applaud him.
Right.
For example, the USAID, they're helping people get money, medicine for ARVs. HIV, people who are struggling who have HIV. they're being supported by USAID. It's helping a lot of health campaigns in Uganda. It's helping refugees. It's helping a lot of people. Very relevant work. But now all that is being overshadowed by the smaller components of strings attached, of pushing agendas that we don't believe in. So people are, we reach a point where we're like, okay, whatever, we don't care about your money, we don't care about the good things that you're doing if you're trying to help push us in a place where we are uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're selling values that we don't necessarily agree to.
All right. So have we about covered it, Paul, or is there anything else we need to address before we wrap this up?
Yeah, so I feel like since we've been off for a while, this could just work like as a nice breaker into the year, so we can be more regular moving forward.
Yeah, maybe we can build off of some of the things we've talked about. So for those that watch us on a regular basis, well, we're back. So welcome back to us. We're glad that you stuck with us to watch this. And we want to throw this out to you, and you're the listener, you're the watcher, you're the viewer, I can say. So what do you want us to talk about as we transition into a new year here? Where do you want us to go with our conversations? So give us your thoughts, give us your comments, and we'll try to follow up on some of those when Paul and I meet next time.
Sure.
So, all right. So I guess we'll wrap this up, Paul. We will hopefully be back maybe in another week. we kept saying that last year, though, and then things kind of got further and further. We kept missing a lot of weeks, and hopefully...
This time I think we shall be more stable.
Yeah, so all right. All right, then I guess bye for now, then.
Yes.